Nikki, do you support one massive super city structure? Where are your thoughts on the Royal Commission, in particular issues around representation?
Yeah, happy to talk about that. The first thing I just would mention though about Judith giving up the Auckland Issues portfolio. No. We still have an Auckland Issues portfolio.
Dear old Wayne map.
Yeah, dear old
Does
Wayne
he know
map.
where Auckland is?
I think that's a pretty low blow, Judith.
Everything was not. I've never heard him say anything about Auckland. It's only the North Shore.
About Auckland, actually.
Oh, passionate.
Well, yes, he is. And all I'd say is
I'm passionate about asparagus,
there are pretty mixed
messages
around why Judith, the portfolio got taken off Judith. So I would say that.
No.
And anyway, but coming to the Royal Commission, I think that the Royal Commission, what happens in terms of their report when it comes out, it will have a lasting impact on generations of Aucklanders. It is one of the most important reports that will come out in a generation. Let me finish, Judith.
If you look at the number of people who made submissions, I think Aucklanders feel that as well. It's a really big issue.
Absolutely. In terms of where I understand National's position is, we have said, look, the whole point of having a Royal Commission is to get the options on the table. So there is a level that we're not going to talk through the options because you're actually kneecapping the commissions that have been given that job. But what I would say is what I am hearing from people on the ground is that many people are talking about having some form of regional entity in terms of the top layer. There is a lot of discussion at the moment around that community representation, and I think that's crucial because I know from the work that I've been doing with communities like Great Barrier and Waiheke, they really want to make sure that they get that local representation.
So Auckland City is stripping away the community board's power. I mean, they can't have it both ways. And the other point I've been making to the business community is that we have a regional council.
That's right.
Get in and work with them. You know, where are these angels from on high that are going to descend and apparently bring us in perfect regional government? We really need to get on with it. And I agree that the Royal Commission is a really interesting opportunity to do it better. But when you look, for example, in Brisbane, where they have one council for the whole of Brisbane, there is a huge amount of resentment at the local level.
That's right.
Because local issues get rolled over. There's no perfect way. And my view is that what Auckland City is doing now on Great Barrier and Waiheke, but also in Freeman's Bay and Ponsonby, is stripping away the power of the community boards, and they really need to get their act together.
That's why the second level of that people are talking about is very important in terms of that detail. But can I just mention one other thing? What is also going to be very crucial is whatever arrangements are decided on, there will be a transition phase. And a number of key business leaders have said to me, it is very important, whoever is in government, that real leadership is shown through that period, so Auckland doesn't stop.
When Infratel bought the old Stagecoach bus company in 2005, patronage in the year to June was 43.1 million passenger trips. A year afterwards, the service lost 900,000 passengers, and last year it had lost another 200,000 passengers. When Infratel entered the industry, public handouts were $45 million. After 5 years, they're now $93.1 million. Public transport in Auckland under Labour has been a failure, hasn't it?
No, it hasn't.
What's going on?
We had massive problems with where public transport went and the infrastructure. So what we said in the first 3 years was we'd put a kickstart in, and basically it was about helping them buy buses. What we kept being told by Stagecoach and then Infratel, by the regional council, was leave it to us, we know what we're doing.
They didn't.
They obviously didn't.
Obviously.
What we've been saying since then is show us value for money. And that's why we set up ARTA, so that we could get some decent information. One of the really interesting things that came out of that is that in the morning rush hour, the average trip by car is less than 3 kilometres. Huge number of them taking kids to school. So we put in walking to school buses. We were derided. Maurice Williamson said this was the most outrageous
Maurice
waste.
Says a lot of
Dear
things.
old Maurice, yes.
We'll
now, he's actually a better Auckland spokesperson than Wayne. Well, it is, but it's true.
Than Wayne, yes. Okay, that's not difficult.
Low blow.
Oh, low blow, Nikki, you don't know what a low blow is, dear. What I find fascinating is that we are now getting, with the new Public Transport Management Act, we are now going to be able to get the information we need, like what their profit levels are, what their costs are, and where they're actually going. Because what used to happen is they could just pull a so-called commercial route, and suddenly the ratepayers and taxpayers
the roots of the public transport nightmare are privatisation policies in the 1990s when our trains and ferries were sold off. Can National be trusted with the silverware again? No secret agenda?
I'll make 3 points. points.
Yep.
Firstly, the first point that I'd make is our final transport policy is not out yet. So
Okay.
But
Morris is right.
I'm going to talk about a couple of things.
Yeah.
Firstly, I have a background in public transport. I'm
Okay.
passionate. I'm passionate about public transport. My background is that I worked with people with disabilities in London around public transport. But what I want to say is two things. Firstly, I am on the record. I've issued a press release around the smart card saying this is a massive priority for Auckland. If I'm elected,
National voted against the bill.
No, we voted against the bill for other reasons. We didn't vote against.
I see.
No, look.
So there were good bits that you wanted, but they voted against it. You're really persuasive, Nikki.
Morris Williamson is on the record as well as saying integrated ticketing is a priority.
Okay.
Why hasn't they voted against
it? It hasn't happened because of the absolute bureaucracy that
That's
Labour
right.
creates
And do you know what
every
they're really
single
against?
organisation.
What they're really against was the public transport companies having to give financial information.
Look, the
That's what
reality
they're
is,
against. I was on the select committee and I heard this.
Judith and I were on Waiheke yesterday.
Yep.
If this public transport management bill was so, Public Transport Management Act is so successful, why is it you could offer no solution?
It was passed a
You
fortnight
couldn't-
ago.
You couldn't offer any solution to those people sitting in that
Yes,
meeting.
I could.
12 months to 2 years until that legislation kicks
Just
in.
as Mike Lee
It's a
could
discretionary clause within the bill in terms of whether they intervene in commercial services. And the people on Waiheke who had fare increases, they're not going to get anything from that piece of legislation.
Can I just ask Nikki what she is proposing for people worldwide who have been weaned onto cars and who are now struggling because of fuel prices and interest rates? What would she do for people on Waiheke? Because what I'm doing is making sure that there is good public investment.
Well, let me ask you both this. Hold on, let me both ask you this. Morris Williamson said tolls international would cost $50 a week. Then he backed away. Under Labour, it'll cost $20 a week. Why are you both investing in public-private roading schemes in a $100 a barrel oil world? And such pitiful investment in Auckland's public transport. Aren't both your priorities wrong for Auckland's transport?
If I can explain what it's about, you're suggesting $20 in terms of the petrol tax.
This is the tolling.
No, but we have not agreed to any toll road.
No, it hasn't been agreed to, but that was the costing.
No, what we have said is that it's an option, and it's a timing option. We already have public-private partnerships. The private industry, construction industry, builds the roads. What I object to is seeing the costs socialised and the profits privatised. And that's what Morris is talking about. What I want to see is good linked roading, and I will take quite a lot of credit for the whole of Spaghetti Junction being rebuilt in that 9 years, Nikki. Seeing for 30 years we waited to connect the North Shore and the Western Motorway. We have it. We have the link to the port. I'm very proud of all of those, and we haven't had to toll. The law remains that you can't have a toll road without a good alternative. What we are saying is it's a timing issue.
And that's agreed. Isn't that something that's a problem with national? They're quite keen on the tolls,
can
but not the...
Can I make 2 points?
Right. Where are their mates from
Firstly, we actually released a policy on Saturday, which has said, and which shows, I think, that we're looking at alternative transport. We have said that electric cars will have road user charges being exempt from electric cars, which is really positive because I think that's showing that we are. But in terms of roading, look, you've got a disgusting record in terms of roading this Labour government, and we have said it's about part of it is about money.
Out the window.
Part of it is about money.
We have built more roads in Auckland in the last 9 years than were built in the 30 years before that.
But there is a massive need for infrastructure investment, and we have committed to that.
You are welcome to say, Judith, you've done really well on roads for Auckland, because we have.
Cross-city tunnel